Now, game week 29 was quite possibly the worst game week of my season so far. I scored just 30 points and I've gone down to 55k overall. I'm ready to put that behind me now. Looking ahead to game week 30, and here is my team selection. Now, I'm trying not to get too disheartened by my drop in rank because I'm still aware that, 55k overall, I think, is a decent place to be this stage of the season. It's one game week, and I think on quite a lot of these players, I've gotten a little bit unlucky. I had Chris Wood as my captain. You can't see the armband there, but he was my captain. An unfortunate blank there when I think Forest scored 4 goals in that game, didn't they? And Chris Wood just did nothing. I brought Evan Nilsson in. He did nothing. Semenyo 1-pointer with a yellow card, and Bumo managed to just get an assist. I'll take that. A blank for Cliver, who I bought in game week 29 for Morgan Rogers. Obviously, Cole Palmer was injured, so he didn't appear. That was a bit of a shame for me, really, because I had him starting and was kind of hopeful that he might have got something in that Arsenal game. But yeah, it just wasn't to be. He didn't even play. So I had Greaves come off my bench for a 0-pointer. I did get a couple of clean sheets. And I believe, if I remember rightly, Fulham and Arsenal both played on the Sunday. So I was looking at this whole team, right? Knowing that Cole Palmer wasn't going to play, I had one return from Mbeumo, and that was it. So I was a little bit worried, but going in, I guess Robinson and Gabriel saved me from a total disaster. Obviously, Robinson with a clean sheet and a bonus point, Gabriel with a clean sheet and a yellow card. Ultimately, though, I don't think there's a whole lot else to talk about with this team. And what I would say, I guess it kind of makes it a little bit more frustrating that the team did poorly. But if I did line up as a 4-4-2 with Robinson, Gabriel, Guardiola, Aina, those 3 midfielders and Palmer with Evan Nilsson and Wood up front, that's how I lined up going into the game week. I was of the mind that, that's a pretty strong team. And yeah, to score 30 points from a starting 11 that looked like that. And I spent 3 transfers as well to make sure I had a good 11 for 29. Yeah, quite disappointing, but it is what it is. Yeah, you move with the game weeks, don't you, in FPL? Some game weeks are good. I think I've had maybe 5 or 6 green arrows in a row. So it was only a matter of time, really, before I was to get a red. And it happened in game week 29. I'm trying not to think about it too much. What's quite nice about this game week 30 team selection video is that I don't need to spend a whole lot of time talking about the fixtures because with my chip strategy, I'm likely going to wildcard in game week 31. Likely bench boost in 33, free hit in 34, right? We'll see how the double game weeks play out as we get into the game week 31 deadline. But for me going into game week 30, all I'm concerned about, given that I'm wildcarding in 31, is really the next game week, a 1 game week view. So yeah, it's great to look at the blank and double game weeks. I've spoken about it in a lot of my videos, as I'm sure I don't really have time to watch any other content creators, but I'm sure they are too. It feels a bit refreshing for me not to really have to talk about this in any level of detail, to be honest. It's just the fact, all you need to know for the purposes of this video was that I'm planning to wildcard next week, game week 31. All right, starting off with my defense then, and well, there's currently one guy that feels like he's missing from my team, and it's Daniel Munoz. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. He's got Southampton, Brighton, and then a double game week in 30, what would that be, game week 32, and potential in 33. They've just won in the FA Cup. They could well have double game week in 33. But again, we're just looking at game week 30 in isolation at the moment if I were to make a transfer. And I'm staring down the barrel at Southampton away, a player that's creeping up in ownership. He's up to 16.2% ownership now. And with Munoz, I spoke about this on my buy and avoid video, the updated buy and avoid video I made a few days ago. The thing you've got to consider with these like uber attacking defenders is that they can get they can get returns through 3 different means. There's like a consistent method. They get goals, assists, and clean sheets, right? So there's 3 ways of getting attacking returns. And if you add up the total of those 3 in 27 appearances, so he's got 9 clean sheets and 8 goal involvements. That's 17 returns, attacking, defensive, 17 returns in 27 appearances for 5.1 million. I'd say that's pretty darn good. And that's what you're getting with Munoz. With that fixture, Southampton away, yeah, I'm certainly considering him for my team, more maybe just purely out of fear. But I do look at the defenders that I've got. I've got only 1 free transfer, right? And with the way that the wildcard works now, you can roll your free transfers until after your wildcard. So the 1 free transfer I have will roll over in post well, for wildcard 31, game week 32, I should have 2 free transfers, I believe. Quote me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think I should have 2 free transfers come game week 32 if it all plays out correctly. So I'm looking at this defence and I just don't see a need to bring Munoz in. Yes, it'd be great. I think he's probably the best defender in the game this week, but I can't justify selling any of these guys or leaving any of these guys out to bring him in. One thing to say, by the way, I'm a bit higgledy-piggledy here. I've been trying to do the graphics for this video, and Evan Nilsson is on the bench. Replace that with Semenyo, right? Use your imagination. Evan Nilsson on the bench there is Semenyo, right? Just remember that one. So we've got Sales and Aina, double Forest defence. After, you know, their performance against Ipswich, you could be a little disappointed they conceded a couple of goals. But I do think Man United at home is a good fixture for them, especially considering at times how, you know, toothless Man United have been in attack sometimes. I know they've got Bruno Fernandes, right, who's been in incredible form recently, but he's literally the only one doing anything for them. So I do think Forest could keep a clean sheet in that game against Man United. So much so that I'm happy to start double. And when I look at my bench, what I've got Robinson against Arsenal and Greaves against Bournemouth, you know, probably best off starting double Forest defence in that case. Guardiola's got Leicester. I do think his attacking output has dropped off a little bit. I think with the might be down to the introduction of Marmoush in the 11 for Man City, to be honest. Just a bit less space for Guardiola to attack from that left-back spot. Just an observation I've made. I don't think there's any justification really, though, to take out Guardiola. I mean, he's in there. Well, the justification to take him out is that potential hamstring injury that he's got, but I don't think he's injured. I think he'll be fine. That's just my opinion. And you can see that I've got Greaves, I guess, on my bench if I need him, so I'm not desperate to make a transfer. Then Gabriel against Fulham. Happy to play him in that game as well. So, yes, you know, shiny new toy Munoz could come into my team, but 1 week before a wild card when you can roll transfers with that back four, I just don't think it's worth it. And it's a similar story for my midfield, really. I can line up with Salah, Palmer, who has returned to Chelsea training, Cliver, and Mbeumo. Remember, I've got Semenyo, not Evan Nilsson, on the bench. Perfectly decent midfield four in my mind. I'm a little bit concerned about that Mbeumo fixture, you know, going away to St James's Park. You know, it's a tough place to go, as we all know, but I still think they could get something out of that game. And with Mbeumo, the beauty of Mbeumo, you know, the talismanic penalty taker that he is, all he needs is like one sniff, one penalty to get an attacking return in that game. So, you know, even if Brentford play poorly, they just need a pen. So, yeah, I'm quite happy to have him. Cliver, yeah, disappointed with the game against, it wasn't Ipswich they played, was it? Who did they play? Oh no, I was getting confused. It was Nottingham Forest that played Ipswich, but I was disappointed anyway with his performance in Game Week 29. Brought him in with one of my free transfers and he just blanked. Palmer, he should be back for that Tottenham game. I'm quite excited for what he can produce there. And he's still really popular in the game, don't get me wrong, but I would quite like to see him punish sellers who got a little impatient, got rid of him, because I refuse to believe that Cole Palmer is now a bad FPL asset. I just don't believe it. And I think Tottenham, you know, he's had time to fully recover from that injury. I think he's going to be ready to go. And then Salah against Everton. I mean, it's a great midfield four, isn't it? I don't really see a need to make a transfer here. I think quite a lot of us FPL managers are waiting on I'm going to use the word tenterhooks. Let me know in the comments if that's correct or not. Around Chris Wood, right? We're all waiting to see what's happening with him. The Brighton, they're playing Brighton. The Brighton Forest FA Cup game is literally going on as I'm recording this video. Gotten away scot-free in terms of injuries so far, I believe, as well, which is good. And Nuno has basically said he's going for a scan. This was yesterday, going for a scan, and he's not ready to go for the Brighton game. I don't think that's all that promising for Game Week 30. I won't lie to you. I would probably say he's going to miss Game Week 30 in my mind. We might get some info after the game. If we do, check the comments section. I'll pin if there is a, you know, an interesting or useful Nuno quote about Chris Wood's fitness, I'll pin that in the comments below. So I'm not going to try and break news. You know, we might get something from Nuno in the post-match interview. So yeah, we're all kind of waiting on tenterhooks really for Chris Wood news. I mean, he's been out against Brighton. I'm predicting he probably doesn't play in 30, but you know, there's a chance. There's a hip injury. I don't think it's serious. So I guess there's a chance he could be fit and ready to go. There is a potential replacement for Chris Wood that I could afford in Jean-Philippe Mateta. 7.5 million, only owned by 5.8% of the game at the moment. And of course, Crystal Palace have got Southampton away in his last 5 appearances. He's got 5 attacking returns. I mean, the guy's in incredible form, back fit, recovered from that injury sustained against Millwall. And yeah, it's obviously a really good fixture. And of course, he has 2 potential double game weeks, depending on how things play out, 2 potential double game weeks. But for me, in terms of transfers, Mateta, probably not worth it, because if you remember back to my bench, I told you to use your imagination, right? Semenyo's on the bench at the moment. I've got Evan Nilsson starting, Semenyo on the bench. Now, if Chris Wood doesn't play, I'm going to start Chris Wood, because in my mind, he either starts or he doesn't feature at all. I don't think Chris Wood is just going to get a cameo appearance. I think with the level of performance and attacking returns and how good he's been for Forest this season, I just don't see a way that he's, benched and then comes on for like 20 minutes. I just think he either starts or he doesn't feature at all. So I feel relatively safe in the fact of starting him, taking my chances that, yeah, he's fit and does play. And then I've got Semenyo coming in off the bench if I need him. And you can actually see there, well, you can't see there, but in terms of the Fantasy Football Hub expected points, Semenyo is actually on 5.5 expected points for Game Week 30. So he's actually higher than Kluivert for expected points. But for me, I think I'd back Chris Wood over Semenyo. And, the scenario of starting people, and of course, Evan Nilsson. So, yeah, I don't think I need to do anything desperately with Chris Wood. I'm wildcarding in Game Week 31. I've got Semenyo on the bench to come in if I need it. Yeah, I'm not too worried. Guardiola, Chris Wood are my 2 injury concerns. Push comes to shove, I think I could take Robinson or Greaves coming in off my bench. Robinson injured as well, of course, so likelihood of him starting, not too sure on that. And yeah, we've obviously got Semenyo coming in for Wood, which, yeah, I think both of those scenarios are better than using a transfer a week before the wildcard. I've spent a fair bit of time on this channel talking about captaincy shouts for Game Week 30, and I think my opinion on the captaincy is as follows. I think Salah is by far and away the best captain, right? I think he is, in my opinion, clearly the best. The gap is not massive. I said by far and away now. I don't think it's quite that much. The gap's not massive, but I do think he's clear of Haaland. Haaland, of course, playing Leicester. Now, I can only captain Salah for my team, but I think if I had Haaland in my team, just if you're thinking about it, you've picked him in your team, spent all that money because you must have thought this week that he was a captaincy option. And I think if you've gone all in and bought Erling Haaland, you should probably risk the captaincy this week and just back him, because, well, there's not going to be many other times this season, considering Liverpool are totally out of all the cup competitions. There's not going to be many other times this season where, you could actually captain someone that's not Salah. So yeah, I'd consider it if I had Haaland. I'd consider going for Haaland. I think you probably should. But for me, you can see that I've got no other choice. Salah is my captain, clear of any other option in my team. I guess maybe Isak. Isak's probably like the 3rd best captain on the outside, I guess, of Salah and Haaland. But yeah, for me, Salah against Everton at Anfield. Looking forward to it. All right, well, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that and found it useful. Just a quick little canter through my team and how it's lining up. Obviously, we've got FA Cup fixtures to go, so I could get absolutely screwed by injuries by the time this video comes out. You can all laugh at me in the comments if things go out of date and I get things wrong, but that's the nature of the game. I just thought people might like some Saturday evening FPL content, and yeah, I'm a saddo who doesn't go out on a Saturday night anymore. If you enjoyed the video and found it useful, please leave me a like rating. Let me know in the comments if you've got any suggestions for my team. I'll be honest, I'm pretty reluctant to make any transfers because I think I can pretty much deal with the potential injuries that I have just through the bench. But let me know in the comments if you've got any suggestions for me. Let's hope I can claw back some kind of green arrow from my disaster of Game Week 29. All right. Oh, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the Golden Goal channel. Should be just there on your screen. Just my new laptop screen, so it's quite hard to see it. There we go. I'll catch you in my next video.